morning everybody, welcome back to Florida State Vacation. Thank you very much for tuning in to our channel today. Got a pretty cool video for you today actually. We wanting to talk about the benefits of staying off-site at Disney, at Walt Disney World Resort, and kind of what that brings to a vacation that's maybe a little bit different from staying on-site, what could impact your vacation, especially if you're traveling with either a big family or there's something that maybe you wanted to do that's outside of the parks, when you can kind of get that nice break. So let's dive in with the first one. So first and foremost, let's talk about transport. Okay, so staying at a Walt Disney World Resort, you definitely do get transport to all of the major theme parks, water parks, things like that. One thing that we found super useful while staying either, like the closest we've stayed to Walt Disney World is at the Hilton Bonnet Creek, just kind of out. It's pretty close to MGM, to be honest, where you also get bus transport. Staying as a British tourist, staying somewhere like iDrive or somewhere kind of along that strip near either Point Orlando or things like that, we found that you can get transport not only to the Walt Disney World Resort, but to the likes of Universal, SeaWorld, Aquatica, things like that. And that's not necessarily like the Lynx bus, that's like physical transport that the hotel will put on for you guys to go and explore all of the great theme parks. We found as well that although that might be included in the initial package of the holiday, we've never had that like detract from our holiday experience. Like I don't think there's ever been a time that we've kind of just like had to go and hand over money and be like, we'd like to go here today, so unless you're like getting a taxi, I guess. But we found that super useful to be able to have that flexibility of staying a few miles off site, having that flexibility, and then just being able to really be quite choosy about what times we want to come back from the parks. And you know, if we do want to have a really heavy day of drinking around the world, or maybe we just don't want to drive, the on-site transport from that the hotels gives you is definitely going to benefit you guys if you are wanting to travel and maybe not stay on Disney properties. So definitely one to consider if you are staying off-site but you're just a little bit anxious about like, how am I going to get to the parks? Do I need to take the car? Am I going to have to spend $20 on parking a day? The answer is no. The majority of hotels do have transport at all of the major theme parks, but definitely check with your hotel before you go, just to make sure that they do offer that. So next thing we want to talk about in direct kind of correlation to that is the different perks that you get while staying off-site. So, you know, we look at some of the amazing perks that you get when staying on Disney property, whether it be, you know, closeness to the parks, if it's extra magic hours, if it's the theming of the amazing pool that you've got outside. But for maybe either bigger families going with a lot of children or people who are quite price conscious, I guess, having a hotel of quite a similar scale and just being able to have different perks, whether it be a free continental breakfast, or maybe, you know, kids eat free, or, you know, there's a place for the kids to go and be looked after if you and your husband want to go out for a meal. That's definitely an option, particularly when staying off site. You know, you might get very different perks and benefits that suit your family more when staying off site, so that's definitely an option. And I think you know, looking at some of the major airlines, I'm thinking here is more kind of like a British tourist visit in Florida, but I know when we were looking to book ours for this year, like Virgin Atlantic had an amazing offer on that you got like $100 worth of stuff, and it's going to be totally subjective to who you guys are going with, but it's definitely a case of weighing up the pros and the cons to see what fits your family more. There's pros and cons to both, and I think the next point I'm going to make is definitely going to impact your decision making more. So, and that is the decision on price. So I think it's not a secret that staying on site at the Walt Disney World Resort, it's expensive. Let's not beat around the bush. Like, it's super expensive. Even from kind of a moderate resort point of view, you know, it's going to cost you some serious Disney dollars. So I think if you are taking 2 adults and 3 children, is it going to be cheaper to stay off site? Yeah, probably. If you're taking 8 people, are you probably going to get more benefits staying at a villa? Yeah, probably. I think, you know, although the Disney resorts are unparalleled. Like, let's be honest, if you're looking at the likes of, I mean in here, like the likes of the MK Trio, let's consider the Poly, the Grand Floridian, the Contemporary. To find a hotel so similar to that in such closeness to Magic Kingdom is going to be super hard to beat. And I think, but you do pay for that, and you do pay for the closeness of that, and the entire grandeur, I guess, of staying somewhere like that is going to cost. And I think that's why the majority of the time, and I'm thinking of me going as like maybe a 9-year-old child up until now, I'm more inclined to look off-site at hotels, whether it be kind of either iDrive, Kissimmee, places like that, going to somewhere a little bit closer now, like Bonnet Creek, which is definitely helping. You are definitely going to see a price change, and I think flicking through brochures it becomes more and more obvious where they are and what price range will fit your family. Having worked in places like Animal Kingdom Lodge and, you know, the DVC side of that, Kidani Village, you know, it is a different scale and there's a price tag attached to that. And I think, you know, the best thing about Walt Disney World and the kind of surrounding Orlando area is that there is not a one size fits all. So you are definitely going to find something for your family that's going to suit your price tag, that you are just going to be able to have a perfect vacation around that. And I think that's important. You know, we always say as well that in the case of Orlando, you very rarely spend time in your hotel room. You're outside, you're exploring, you're going to parks, you're going to water parks. You're going to spend at least a 30% time in your room, and it's usually sleeping. And this brings us on to my final point around staying off-site. So I think whenever we've been, particularly visiting, you know, we're there for about 14 days, so we're trying to cram everything in that Orlando and kind of outside of Florida has to offer. One thing that personally I quite like about staying off Disney site is having that ability to, it's having an air of flexibility, I guess. So just being able to drive to Disney World, but then when you want to come away, kind of come back out, or using the transport that we discussed, you know, come back out of there. And then, you know, if you want to go for a dip in your own pool, you totally can. And it's just, and if you want to go for dinner, but maybe not at a Disney park or Disney resort, or stay on your hotel on site, you definitely do have that, almost that ability to make a break and go outside and experience other things. One thing that myself and Paul in particular, have found super useful about that is that we've been able to go and visit different places and just have what feels like a little bit more flexibility, particularly when visiting. So I think to come out of Disney and then being able to maybe go and stay somewhere else, like the furthest out that we've stayed myself is kind of up Polk County region. It was nice to almost drive out and have that ability to see other places surrounding Orlando, and whether it's, you know, going up to visit Winter Park or going to an Orlando City game, it's just been really cool, I think, to have that and to be able to travel. And that's by no means to say that you can't do that when you stay at a Walt Disney World resort. We've just found, this is completely personal, that staying off-site, just we find that suits our taste a little bit better, and it gives us the ability to maybe experience that a lot more. So I think it is going to be completely personal preference, and that's ours. It's just the idea that we can come out of there and have a break from it all. And, you know, if we want to go and ride some huge ginormous rides at Universal, or, you know, go and see the fish at SeaWorld, we can do that. So that is kind of it, guys. Just a nice little 4-pointer video, I guess, today, all about the benefits of staying off-site at Walt Disney World. Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say though. Do you love staying on site? If so, where do you stay? If you love staying off site, we also want to hear from you guys as well. What's your benefits and perks, I guess, to that? So comment below, tweet us, email, I don't really care, just get in touch. We really love to hear from you of what you guys have to say. We do have a new blog post up as well, all about our favourite places to eat at Animal Kingdom, so I will drop a link to that just below. It's been lovely speaking to you guys again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really love speaking to you guys. But yeah, please comment, love to hear what you guys have got to say. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week.